This week on For the Record, Moline machine. Flooding puts some pressure on city services. Big job searches also pose new challenges. How the city handles all of them. Mayor Stephanie Acree is our guest in studio. Illinois goes big, legalizing pot, sports wagering, and the biggest budget in state history. How the legislative session positions the state for the future. And royal treatment. What valuable secret the president wanted to find out from the guards at Buckingham Palace.
Local for you. From the heart of the Quad Cities, your local election headquarters presents For the Record. And now, here's your host, Jim Needleman.
Hello everyone, I'm Jim Needleman and this is For the Record. Flooding has dominated the discussion in the Quad Cities for several weeks now, and for good reason. A lot of the attention focused on Davenport when the water broke through the HESCO barriers, then a similar breakdown in Burlington a week ago. Well, don't overlook Moline in this. We've seen flash flooding along River Drive near the Tax Layer Center from heavy rain. Cars have actually gotten stuck there. High water's been a regular problem a couple of miles to the east on River Drive, where customers can't access businesses like coffee shops and restaurants in that area. And then there's people living in the Cloverleaf Trailer Park. They are also inundated with water, so it's a pretty big mess in a lot of places. Moline city government is dealing with that, as well as some structural changes in City Hall itself. Moline hired a new city administrator a couple of months ago. Lisa Cotter is the third person to have the job in almost 3 years. She immediately got tasked with trying to find a new economic development director. Cotter leads the search for a new police chief that restarted recently, and the city changed its approach to its legal issues. Moline's two in-house attorneys resigned in mid-April. The city decided not to replace them. Instead, Moline hired two law firms to fill those roles as needed. That's like a lot of activity in a relatively short amount of time. The flooding alone is a lot to handle. The woman overseeing all of it joins us for a conversation this morning, Moline Mayor Stephanie Acree. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning.
We've paid a lot of attention to the flooding this year, most of that in Davenport. Moline, certainly though, not immune to this. What has the impact been on your city?
You know, it's most dramatic when we have a rain event and flooding at the same time. So we've struggled in several instances to make sure that that rainwater is dealt with appropriately.
Is it a drainage issue more than anything else at this point? Because we don't, you know, it looks like there's the flood wall on the Moline side and the Illinois side of things, right? So
yeah, so we have the rail berm that serves as our flood wall, and so when we shut off the gates that normally drain into the river, we have to mechanically move that water over. We also have the issue that our ground is saturated with water, and so everything that comes down goes right down to that space, and we have to deal with it very quickly.
Is it surprising that you're having to deal with this as much as you have this year?
You know, It's not a surprise, and I would expect it to continue to worsen over the years. I mean, we just have a different situation than we have historically had, and we need to be prepared for that.
I mentioned the issues along River Drive specifically. I'm aware that some of those newer businesses in the area of the Western Illinois University campus have expressed concerns about the situation. How much is the city doing there specifically, and is there more that can be done to alleviate the situation?
You know, it's very difficult to deal with it when it's on that side of the rail berm, but what we've been trying to do is resolve it as quickly as possible and open that road back up. So that's what we've been doing, opening and closing and trying to address it quickly.
Is that a pumping issue? Is that what you have to do, literally bring in the pumps to bring it back over? Is there
no,
anything that's sort of to wait it out?
That's the river level.
Right.
So those businesses that are along the River Drive are impacted by the Mississippi. So as soon as the Mississippi goes down to a level, we clean off the road and open up those streets again so that those businesses can continue to thrive.
So you can't pump anything there, you sort of have to wait out and try to
yeah,
clean
there's really no pumping on River Drive. It's more pumping on the other side of the rail, where we've got storm water that would normally flow into the river. Naturally, it doesn't do that. We've got a break there.
This is certainly an extreme year for everyone along the Mississippi River. Where does the city stand, I guess, on addressing the needs of the future? After it's over, will there be some sort of review process, and who's in charge of that, and what kind of things do you expect to discuss?
Yeah, our budget is coming up, and so we normally formalize our budget in the end of the year, but we do a lot of preparation, and that certainly is going to be an important part of it this year.
And was that something that the Public Works would be sort of formulating that and going through the review and all the, I guess, overtime expenses and whatever the different issues and highlighting the problem areas? I'm just sort of spitballing here, yeah.
You know, I think that we'll invest in some additional secondary pumps to make sure that we have pumps in the right place when we have those rain events and there is a flood at the same time.
Are there any other types of changes that would be under consideration to manage the flooding in the future? Is there anything else?
You know, we're trying to partner with our private landholders as well to make sure that everybody has the right storm systems in place, so that it's not impacting other people. So we've been working carefully with the cloverleaf management to try to improve that situation, and hopefully we'll have better results next year.
And that seems to be the most significant neighborhood in Moline that is dealing with
It has
the
been
flood.
very impacted, and it's really quite devastated by the flooding.
And that's a drainage issue primarily, then, it seems like.
It is.
And is that the type of infrastructure project? I mean, because to fix a storm drain, that's a pretty big infrastructure project. Is that something that would be on the property holder, or would it be the city thing, or are you looking at a partnership to try to offset the expenses?
It's the financial responsibility of the property owner, but the city of Moline, because it impacts so many of our Moline residents, has been supporting that effort. They have made a commitment to the city that they are going to resolve it and be good neighbors to not only the surrounding properties, but also be good service providers to their own residents.
Certainly a significant issue for a lot of people. We have more ground to cover with Moline Mayor Stephanie Acree. Turnover and the train, what you can take out of recent management changes, and the renewed commitment to the rail project in Moline. For the Record.